Join us as we explore the question behind the unexpected disappearance of some of Hollywood's biggest actors and their current whereabouts. This is a world where fame and fortune are uncertain. We follow the fascinating adventures of celebrities who disappeared from the limelight and investigate what caused their abrupt absence, as well as where they are today, lifting the curtain on the tempting but dangerous world of Hollywood. Give up on Hollywood? Why would a prominent person do that? The typical perception of life in Hollywood is a long cry from reality. Hollywood can be intimidating and draining. As Marilyn Monroe once said, Hollywood is a place where you may be paid $1,000 for a kiss and $50 for your soul. I'm aware of this since I persistently refused the initial offer and settled for 50 cents. Hollywood is an odd place. Although it may be the land of glitter and glamour, it also harbors some of the world's most shady characters. Hell, as a more real example, consider how many creeps were exposed in 2017. It seems that we are progressively accepting the notion that what we see is genuine in today's environment. At some time or another, we've all changed the focus on our camera to conceal a beachside pile of trash, or stood in line to get that perfect mountain shot where we seem like the only people in the world. Why do we all act in this way? Of course, in order to impress others. Even though we all understand that this is not the actual world, when it comes to celebrities' life in particular, we continue to believe the fiction. Progress as a Hollywood actor still actually puts in a lot of time and effort, however. Also, even if the remuneration is fantastic, performers incur the danger of releasing a production that might invite harsh criticism of their abilities. Even worse, if a movie doesn't turn out precisely as expected, it may leave an actor with a bad taste in their mouth for the rest of their life. No fun. Yet there is never a 100% assurance of retirement, much like in rock and roll and wrestling. Yet we found a ton of famous people who shied away from the limelight for some intriguing causes. Some of them handled it honorably. Others weren't nearly so kind and clearly needed a fresh start away from this filthy business. As a result, some movie stars decide to leave the glitter and glamour of Hollywood, either because they've seen how fast it can turn against them, or because they've come to the conclusion that there's more to life than passively waiting for the word action. However, this is our list of Hollywood performers who have fully vanished from our screens without further ado. Jack Nicholson. Often regarded as one of the most talented actors to have ever graced the big screen, actor Jack Nicholson. He became a Hollywood legend because of his parts in movies like Batman, One Flew Over, The Cuckoo's Nest, and The Shining. But Jack Nicholson is no longer a movie star. He said he didn't want to perform anymore and quit the business. According to rumors, Nicholson will come out of retirement to play the lead role in the Tony Erdmann American version, which was nominated for an Oscar in Germany. Geena Davis. Geena Davis, an actress, abruptly disappeared from our screens while she was at the top of her stardom. After appearing in two timeless movies, Thelma and Louise and Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, the performer gained both critical praise and global renown. Most people are not aware of this, but Davis discovered the male-to-female character ratio was significantly skewed in favor of men when watching TV with her family. Remarkably, the celebrity chose to fund the biggest study on the gender disparity in children's entertainment. In the end, the research found that there were, on average, 3 men for every 1 girl. Davis became more active in advocacy and lent support to groups to correct this inequality. She doesn't seem to have returned to the big screen yet, which suggests that this job has kept her quite occupied. Cameron Diaz. With how many movies Cameron Diaz has appeared in over the last 20 years, it seems as if she has never actually left the business. Nonetheless, Diaz hasn't been in a brand new movie since 2014's Annie, and her most recent prominent news event was her 2015 nuptials to Good Charlotte's Benji Madden. Diaz provided an explanation for her hiatus from Hollywood during a panel discussion at the In Goop Health event last year. Quote, "I finally said, I can't truly describe who I am to myself, which is a difficult realization to come to terms with. I had the desire to complete myself," end quote. No one can deprive her of any me time, and a chance to recharge the batteries given that she had been working steadily for 2 decades, sometimes on several projects each year. Sean Connery. Contrary to popular belief, Sean Connery didn't stop acting because he abhorred the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Instead, it had something to do with time. After 2003, Connery reportedly promised not to do another movie, according to his friend and fellow actor Michael Caine, since he didn't want to play minor roles about elderly men and because they weren't providing him youthful roles as romantic leads, Caine said. The movie industry forced his buddy into retirement. The final line is obviously Caine's dry, ironic humor, but he does make a point that is somewhat true. Connery was reduced to primarily supporting parts after years of playing the lead, which couldn't have been a pleasant experience. He thus made the decision to go with grace. Meg Ryan. In films like When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail, she established herself as the queen of the rom-com. She also acted in the brooding thriller City of Angels when Nicolas Cage was still dazzling audiences. But in 2000, Meg Ryan came under heavy media scrutiny when it was revealed that she was having an affair with Russell Crowe, the star of Proof of Life, who was sweeping Hollywood with his breakthrough performance in Gladiator. Ryan worked intermittently in Hollywood following the affair, but her roles were never the same. She waited 8 years to confront the incident in an interview with In Style in 2008. Ryan asserts that the relationship existed, and despite how it harmed her public image, she regarded it as freeing after years of being accused of infidelity by her then-husband, actor Dennis Quaid. Now that her side of the tale had been out, Ryan tried to make up with The Ladies, a movie about a cheating husband, but reviewers and viewers weren't having it. Since then, Ryan has essentially left Hollywood behind, apart from a few parts here and there, and moved to New York, where she is concentrating on her kids and navigating the difficulties of love with rocker John Mellencamp, with whom her on and off engagement formally ended in 2019. Her second film, What Happens Later, which she also helped produce, and in which she will star, is now in post-production. Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis rose to fame on SCTV, Canada's equivalent of Saturday Night Live, and later established himself as a comedic legend, beginning with the obscure film Ghostbusters. After that, Moranis had leading parts in the Disney series Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Spaceballs, and Little Shop of Horrors. He continued to work solidly throughout the 90s, scoring the coveted Barney Rubble part in the 1994 live-action adaptation of The Flintstones. This man seemed to be destined for a long career in Hollywood. Then he vanished. When news broke that he wouldn't return to reprise his role as Louis Tully in the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, Moranis gave a rare interview to The Hollywood Reporter to demonstrate where he had been. By 2015, Moranis had essentially disappeared from Hollywood for nearly 18 years, save for subtly taking on some voice acting roles. Please have some Kleenex on hand. Moranis' wife Anne passed away from breast cancer in 1997. While he had intended to take a short hiatus, Moranis instead committed himself to bringing up their 2 young children, and the actor is now completely content with his choice. Moranis said, quote, "I was working with incredibly intriguing people, lovely people. I changed from that to having a few young children at home, which is a totally different lifestyle, but I thought it was significant, and I have absolutely nothing to regret. My life is fantastic." Renee Zellweger. Renee Zellweger rose to fame after taking home an Oscar for her role in Cold Mountain, making her one of the world's most popular celebrities. But soon after, she made the decision to leave the film business. Quote, "I discovered anonymity so that I could communicate with people on a human level, be recognized and heard, and not be defined by this image that precedes me when I go into a room," the author said. Who could possibly express it more fairly? Shelley Duvall. Shelley Duvall established herself as one of the greatest actors of her period for many years by giving incredible performances after exceptional performances. It gives you chills only to recall her terrifying performance as Wendy Torrance in The Shining. Duvall vanished from view in 2002, and nobody knew what the actress was going through in her personal life. Later, in 2016, Duvall made a comeback on Dr. Phil and said that she had been battling mental illness. She makes it evident in her interview that she is sick, as she talks about her dread of the Sheriff of Nottingham and asserts that the late Robin Williams is still alive and capable of changing his appearance. Dr. Phil came under fire for continuing the show's broadcast since it was seen to be exploitative of Duvall and her condition. Our adventure comes to an end. leaving us with a curious and nostalgic sense. Nostalgia for the once magnificent performances that won our hearts, as well as interest in what these performers' futures may bring. Yet one thing is certain: their tales have irrevocably etched themselves into Hollywood's rich tapestry and will continue to motivate future generations.